This is a city that I started playing back in 2018 when I first started playing Cities Skylines. And at that time, I didn't really take the game too seriously. Played a little bit and then lost interest in the game. And I picked it up again after a while. Recently, I got the save off of an old computer and decided that I wanted to play it once again and see if I could turn it into a really nice, high-quality build after all of those years. And I thought it was interesting to me because sometimes we sort of forget about a lot of the things that we maybe used to do or used to value, and years pass and we kind of just let those old memories fade into the past. But what happens if we go back to them? I guess what I realized from this is if I was going to start off building a city in this game today, I would probably do it differently than I did years ago when I had no particular expectations, and long before I put thousands of hours into the franchise. My road layouts are a bit crude and my playstyle was a bit different. But going back to revisit it years later, it's kind of fun because the old mixes with the new, and despite the fact that I do things differently when I play the game today than I used to, it's a nice mix of how I used to play and how I play now, and I've kind of enjoyed that experience going through and finding ways to add value to this old save that I kind of thought that I had forgotten about and didn't really intend to ever revisit. Been kind of fun, but maybe in there's an allegory for the importance of not giving up on things. Sometimes, even if things are not perfect, it's nice to go back to them again and again and find a way to be I guess, able to see the good and come back to keep on building on what you started building on a long time ago. A lot of times in life we wind up sort of moving on from things all the time, and we never really let anything take root because we're always looking for what the next better thing might be. But there is definitely something therapeutic and kind of cathartic about going back to the same old familiar things again and again and not giving up on them just because maybe they're a little bit old or because they weren't perfect when we tried to do them before. Life is filled with things that are imperfect, and if we accept that imperfection and we embrace it and try to be, maybe be even proud of it, let the imperfection become part of the identity of the future, then all of it just mashes together, and there's things that are good and things that are not good, all kind of just blended together. It all works out just fine in the end, and it doesn't have to be perfect to be beautiful. That's maybe the lesson of life. If we try to make things perfect, then sometimes we spend our whole life looking for perfection, but never really finding it because we're looking for something that doesn't really exist. But when you start doing things without any expectation that they have to be perfect, then I think sometimes they can lend themselves to happy surprises and you can have more fun than you would expect when you stop looking and you just start being. It's a long road to get there, though, to realize that life doesn't have to have any sure answers, doesn't have to fit any specific grid. It can just be what it is. And that's actually how cities tend to be built. It's usually a lot of random, unconnected agendas and grids and layouts that all sort of slowly mash together, and then maybe eventually people start saying, well, let's find a way to, kind of connect it all together and turn the loose pieces into a single unified city that has a strong sense of identity. But cities don't usually start off that way. There's just a lot of disconnected pieces that eventually loosely connect and then mingle together to create something interesting. And eventually they have an identity, but it's not because someone sat down and planned the whole thing out in advance and then made a perfect metropolis. To the contrary, usually it doesn't work out like that at all. That being said, though, once in a while some dictator will think they're going to build the model city, and it usually does not work out as they plan. Even if it is monumental and beautiful when they're done, it still lacks that organic randomness that makes cities feel alive. If you ever compare a city like maybe Dubai or something to a city like New York or Chicago, there just really isn't any comparison, because one was designed to be grand and the other just started off ordinary and it became grand over a period of time. I think that that's always preferable to lofty expectations from the beginning. But we often want things to be perfect. We want a perfectly planned experience, and then we feel disappointed when it doesn't work out that way. But what we don't realize is that life is supposed to be filled with a lot of happy accidents and chaos that slowly coalesces together and becomes something beautiful in the end. The strength is in diversity, not in a single closed-minded interpretation of what good looks like. And that is a universal lesson of nature, that perfection is often nested in a lot of ordinary, imperfect things. So this is the City of Grace, named that way because it was thought to be a forgotten save from a long time ago, and now here it is once again, a city that I have been working on building and beautifying and making into something new, despite the fact that it is actually something rather old. Maybe there is hope for us after all to find a path from the past to a new future, and not to get lost along the way. Even if sometimes we do get lost for a period of time, that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be lost forever. Sometimes it's possible to think that a chapter is closed and the book is written, but then somebody will once again resurrect an old save and breathe new life into it, and we will realize once again that what we thought of as an ending was actually just another beginning, another chapter that just has not yet begun. Life is filled with interesting things that happen, sometimes after we think that the main part of the story is over. I like to think about Queen Elizabeth II, late Queen of England, who probably thought our life was kind of maybe approaching its close back in the 90s or 80s or something, when she was in her 70s. And how would she have known that after she got to retirement age, she was going to still be able to make a difference in people's lives for her country for another few decades to come. Sometimes we write ourselves off and we think we're out of time. I think those are kind of perhaps a couple of the great lies of our time, that we have unlimited time when really we don't, because the truth is we don't have unlimited time. Even if you're 20 years old, you might get run over by a bus, and today might be the last day. And we also think about our lives as maybe not having very much time left, or thinking that the ship has sailed. We don't have a chance to recover from some of those mistakes from the past. But sometimes there is a bit more time in life than we think, and there is a lot of opportunity for redemption and for second chances and for things that we thought to be closed chapters to become alive once again. In any case, as always, good luck on your adventure. Remember to have faith and believe in the beauty of your dreams. Believe that tomorrow can have new opportunities in it, and don't write off the past as a lost cause. Sometimes it can be a good foundation for beautiful new things that will be in your future. As always, good luck on your adventure. Till next time, thanks so much for watching.